Hey everybody, Cole here with trainwithcole.com, and I'm doing another book review of a book that I read a week and a half ago. Um, and the book is called Making Happy: The Art and Science of a Happy Marriage. It's by doctors Les and Leslie Parrott. It's about a 200-page book that talks about marriage. Now, I wanted to review this book because maybe if you saw a Facebook post that I made earlier, thanking my sister-in-law, Stacy. Again, thank you so much for this book. This book was incredible. She bought me this book, not because my wife and I, Lindsay, are in any marital stress. We're not at all. I just really, really hold marriage in high regard. Um, it is extremely important to me. I believe that marriage is one of the greatest blessings that a human being can ever know. And it saddens me that it is not regarded or respected at all, hardly in the world today. Um, that more than 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Which, if you're watching this and if you've had a divorce, first of all, I'm very, very sorry. I don't wish that on anybody ever, regardless if it was your fault, not your fault, both people's fault, or whatever the circumstance might be. It sucks, and I want you to know that I'm legitimately sorry for you, and I hope that you never have to go through an experience like that again. And I hope you can find healing. Um, but I think it's books like these that help people who are married or are thinking about being married, give hope that their marriage can make it. Um, what I like about this book, and I'll give you my 3 points here in a minute, is that it's short, it's sweet and to the point, and it focuses on how to be happy in your marriage. And believe it or not, happiness is a large part of choice. And so you can read a lot of psychology about happiness, and you'll see that that is true. But they just talk about happiness in the context of marriage. It's super interesting. In fact, this book is more about happiness and just how to be a happy person, and how does just the psychology of our minds cause us to be happy, than it is more about marriage. So it's probably even worth your while if you don't want to read a marriage book just for the sake of happiness. It's worthwhile. But let's get to 3 points. The 3 points are this. I wrote them down here on my little piece of paper. Point number one, as you can see, it's all about the psychology of happiness. I talked about that. This book is full, absolutely full of different scientific studies that they talk about and reference, different just interesting facts about happiness, especially as it pertains to relationships and obviously to marriage. I thought that was super fascinating because you don't see that in a lot of marriage books, I don't think. I've read a lot. I don't see a lot talked about happiness and how it's very possible to control how happy you are in a marriage. Point number two, the practical help in the book is actually practical. You know how a lot of times in books, they'll say, so and so authors give practical knowledge on how to do X, Y, or Z, and then like you read the practical steps, it's like that's not helpful to me at all as a person. I feel like their steps were, because they always tie it back to you individually and how you differ from the authors, how you differ from other people, and how you're different from your spouse. It's very open ended, it's very customizable, but they give some generalities in some ideas to consider when pursuing a happier marriage. And so I felt like the practical things they try to do for you actually are practical. And the third point that I like the most is that this book is written entirely to the reader, meaning you. It's not written to the spouse. It's not written on how to fix the other person. It's written how to fix you, what's going on in your mind and in your heart as it pertains to how happy you are as a person. It talks more about how to make yourself happier than it does how to make your spouse happier, therefore your marriage happier, because they pretty much state that you choose if you're happy or not. You control a lot of circumstances that determine your happiness, the way that you think, the way that you feel, the circumstances you're in. They don't try to change how you view the relationship. They try to change you, and they want you to consider how just the way that you think drastically affects your happiness. I rate this book very high. This is absolutely. I mean, I've read a handful of marriage books. I've been married. I'll be married 3 years next week. I've read quite a few in
put before being married and now being married. And this is definitely by far probably my top three. It's short, 200 pages, it's an easy read, but it's thought provoking, which I like. And so I really encourage you, if you value your marriage and relationships that are close to you, pick this up. I think you'll find on the flip side, you'll have an encouraged heart. You'll probably, hopefully, feel a little more positive about your marriage and hopefully a little more happy. So I would say check it out.